What if the most criticized signing of the entire offseason is actually about to become its greatest vindication? What if 13 MLB executives got it completely wrong, and one subtle head movement during a pitcher's windup is the very thing that proves it? The Toronto Blue Jays are defending American League champions, fresh off a heartbreaking Game 7 World Series loss to the Los Angeles Dodgers. They came so close to everything. And this spring, the man they bet $210 million on is quietly making adjustments that could push this franchise all the way back. And this time, over the finish line. Hello, Jays Nation. Welcome to Jays Quick News, your go-to spot for the latest Toronto Blue Jays updates. We are diving deep today into the most polarizing player on this entire roster, Dylan Cease, and why everything you have been hearing about his spring might be the most encouraging story coming out of Dunedin right now. Is the real Dylan Cease finally arriving in Toronto? If you are new here, hit that subscribe button immediately, because this story is just getting started and you do not want to miss a single chapter. Let's set the full picture here, because context is everything. Dylan Cease arrives in Toronto as the most scrutinized free agent signing of the entire 2025 offseason. According to an anonymous survey conducted by The Athletic, 13 MLB executives ranked Cease's 7-year, $210 million deal as the single worst signing of the winter. Their case? A 4.55 ERA in 2025 with the San Diego Padres, an 8-12 record, and a walk rate that finished second worst in the entire National League. But here is what those executives conveniently ignored. Cease's expected ERA last season was 3.46, a full run lower than his actual number. His expected batting average against was 2.14, while hitters actually hit .239 off him. Those gaps tell a very specific story. Dylan Cease was consistently unlucky in 2025. The underlying talent was elite. He led the entire league in strikeouts per 9 innings at 11. 5. His whiff percentage ranked in the 95th percentile, and his K rate sat in the 89th percentile league-wide. The numbers beneath the surface were those of a genuine front-of-rotation ace. And now, in spring training 2026, something is clicking even deeper. Cease has been experimenting with a head movement adjustment during his windup, briefly turning his face toward third base as he raises his leg before snapping his gaze back to the catcher. It is a blink and you miss it tweak, but Cease says it has corrected a mechanical flaw that caused him to yank and cut pitches throughout his career. The results were immediately visible in his second Grapefruit League start against Atlanta. 3 scoreless innings, 0 walks, a fastball averaging 97.8 miles per hour and touching 99.2, and 38 strikes on 54 pitches. A 70% strike rate that had manager John Schneider genuinely smiling. What makes this development so significant goes well beyond one spring training outing. Since 2020, Cease leads all MLB pitchers with 1,150 strikeouts. That same time frame, he also leads all pitchers with 395 walks. That is the fundamental tension of Dylan Cease. Historically elite strikeout ability living inside a delivery that has never fully cooperated. If this mechanical tweak even partially bridges that gap, the Blue Jays will have unlocked something genuinely dangerous. And here's an angle that almost nobody is talking about: the defense. The Toronto Blue Jays have been the best defensive team in baseball by fielding run value for each of the past 2 consecutive seasons. Cease spent his career pitching in front of defenses that ranked 18th, 20th, 21st, and 23rd in the league. Last year in San Diego, that defensive gap likely contributed directly to the difference between his 4.55 ERA and his 3.46 xERA. Now he pitches in front of Andres Gimenez and Ernie Clement, 2 players with legitimate Gold Glove potential, alongside one of the most elite outfield defensive alignments in the sport. That shift alone could deliver half a run off his ERA without changing a single thing about how he pitches. The delivery obsession. Cease carries is not unusual for great pitchers. It is, in fact, a hallmark of them. Schneider noted that Cease constantly talks about where his arm sits relative to his lower half and what that mechanical relationship means for his stuff. That level of self-analysis mirrors what made Roy Halladay a franchise icon in Toronto, and it echoes the obsessive refinement that defines every elite starter on the current Blue Jays staff. Kevin Gausman has mastered his splitter through years of meticulous tinkering. Jose Barrios reinvented his approach after early struggles. Even Max Scherzer, who came back to Toronto for another run at a championship, has always credited mechanical consistency as the foundation of his legendary career. Cease is also expanding his arsenal this spring with a developing changeup specifically designed to neutralize left-handed hitters, an area where his curveball has historically underperformed. The Blue Jays pitching department has an exceptional track record developing changeups, as demonstrated by Gausman and young prospect Trey Yesevich. This is a franchise that knows exactly how to turn a good pitcher into a great one. The trajectory here is genuinely exciting. Pair a more mechanically consistent Cease with the best defense in baseball, an elite pitching staff around him, and a lineup anchored by Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who signed the largest contract in Blue Jays history at $500 million, and you start to see what Toronto is building toward. A rotation featuring Cease, Gaussman, Berrios, Scherzer, Yasavage, and Ponce is not just competitive. It is legitimately historic in its depth. The Blue Jays came one win away from a World Series title in 2025. They lost Game 7 to the Dodgers. That memory does not fade quietly. It fuels everything happening in Dunedin right now. And if Dylan Cease finds what he is looking for in that subtle head turn, Jays Nation, the team that came heartbreakingly close last October might have just found the missing piece. 13 executives call this deal a mistake. Dylan Cease is answering them one strike at a time. And the answer is looking pretty convincing right now. So tell me, Jays Nation, are you buying in on Cease this season? Drop your prediction in the comments below. And if this breakdown fired you up, smash that like button, subscribe to Jays Quick News, and ring that notification bell. The road back to the World Series starts in Dunedin, and we are covering every single step.